What is up, everybody? We are halfway through the week here at Crain and Company. To my left, former Michigan quarterback David Cohn. To my right, former Western State Colorado wide receiver Blaine Crain. And we have prepared yet another delicious sports meal for you guys today. It's Quinn Ewers officially says he's going to go in the NFL draft. We play which is more likely in the College Football National Championship game on Monday. And we're also going to give you our best early bets for the NFL playoff divisional round. Blaine, tell the people about the polls in the chat. And I want the chat hot today. I want y'all hot today.
Feet chopping it.
Yeah.
If you heard it
or
from
come see me after.
All right, Chad, make sure you hit that like, hit that subscribe button. If you donate, it's on topic. It will get read. All donations will get read at the end of the show. We're going to have multiple polls today, and some of those polls you will get to decide the winner. Connie, can we talk about that Hot Take Hotline?
We will be taking your live calls on the Hot Take Hotline. Those lines open at 3:50 p.m. Eastern, 2:50 Central. The number is 1-855-236-3228. You got 60 seconds when you call in. We want to hear your hottest sports take.
All right. Well, let's lock in. Let's have a great Wednesday. Everybody get excited. It's time for Crain and Company. Texas quarterback Quinn Ewers has officially declared for the NFL draft, and I think he's a smart man to do so. Not because he's going to be a first-round pick or that he had an incredible year this season, but the quarterback draft class is way down compared to years past, especially last year. I think Jalen Milroe made the decision to declare for the NFL draft for the exact same reason. You know, they say in the stock market game, they tell you to buy the dip, and Quinn Ewers is doing exactly that. Because there's no guarantee that next year's draft class won't be loaded, or if he transferred and stay in college, that it wouldn't all fall apart, especially if he goes to a lesser team with a lesser coach, because for a quarterback, it doesn't get better than Steve Sarkisian. I think there's a chance that if he stayed in college as well, he could end up going undrafted or worse. We know Quinn Ewers has been hurt before. It could be a devastating injury. And don't forget, since he won't get drafted extremely high, he could fall to the perfect place where there are pieces around him and he has time to sit back for a year or two and kind of adjust to the NFL game. If he has staying power in the league, probably going to be as a backup. So you might as well get that started now and take advantage of the down year at the quarterback position in this draft class, as I mentioned earlier. It's a smart move by Quinn. Surprised Carson Beck didn't do it. Now let's see if that stock will rise. David Cohn, Quinn Ewers going to the NFL draft first. Are you surprised that he did? And secondly, should he have?
No, I'm not surprised that he did, but no, he should return to college for a couple reasons here. The first one is the injury history that you talked about. Quinn Ewers at Texas, and even before when he transferred from the Buckeyes, he hasn't stayed healthy for an entire football season. And, you know, if we were talking about a running back and you said, look, man, he just got banged up in a couple games throughout his career, I'd say, you know what, it's better just to go ahead and go to the NFL. Why take any more wear and tear on your body for an extra season? But I do think that Quinn Ewers could benefit from a similar strategy that Michael Penix Jr. utilized when he was at Washington. Had some injuries when he was at Indiana, goes to Washington, has back-to-back seasons where he plays every single game. One of those is a national championship season, and he throws for 9,000 total yards. Then Michael Penix Jr. got drafted in the top 10 by the Falcons, and now he's beat out Kirk Cousins. He's the starting quarterback. I think Quinn Ewers' draft stock could rise if he could come back and prove I can stay healthy for an entire season. The second part of this, to me, is NIL. I mean, if Quinn Ewers were playing when I was playing, yeah, I would be singing a different tune right now. If you can get drafted in the NFL, go do that, be a professional, and make that money. But now these guys are professionals. We just saw Carson Beck transfer from the University of Georgia to Miami. Carson Beck is going to make more money with the Miami Hurricanes than he would if he was with the Miami Dolphins. He's making more money than Brock Purdy. Quinn Ewers, you're in the catbird seat, man. You could either stay at Texas, or if they want to move on to Arch Manning, you could transfer to a different school, be the starting quarterback, play for 20 years at this point. The NCAA can't tell you to leave. Make that NIL money. You're good. So I would stay in college. If I was.
Well, let me ask you, too, because I get that side of it. I think now with the NIL, it has changed some things. But I think I'm looking risk versus reward, and I think I'm looking at the timeline here. So if you truly believe that you're an NFL quarterback, which I think Quinn Ewers does, and Carson Beck probably does, too. I think there can be different shades of gray when it comes to this. But that 1 year of making that NIL money if he goes somewhere else, and then he doesn't have a good year, and he doesn't get drafted, and he doesn't get his chance in the NFL, you think that risk is better to take other than saying, listen, I may get taken in the 3rd or 4th round, but at least I'll get a chance in the NFL, I'll make some money there, and then could make some big money, which I get what you're saying.
Well, again, to the Michael Penix Jr. point, like he could have said, man, I got injured, but I'm still in my heart, I believe I'm an NFL guy. Had a couple injuries, man. Maybe I should just go and be a 5th-round pick. He didn't do that. He decided to stay in college, went to Washington. Again, utilize that little bit of extra eligibility you get from the COVID years and with all the lawsuits the NCAA has gone through, and he ended up being a top 10 pick. So, yeah, again, risk-reward for Quinn Ewers. Like, if he really, truly believes like he's good enough to return to – if from your question, the mindset is, well, if I'm just going to get hurt again, then I might as well go ahead and go to the NFL where I can make more money. Then your NFL career, to me, is already not going to work out.
Yeah, you can be a journeyman. We've seen the
if he
quarterback.
If he goes back to college, he's not playing at Texas.
No, that's the craziest part.
Everybody says that like it's just an assured statement.
Well, it doesn't.
We know that.
Like it does.
Texas fans say it. I get, because Texas fans want Arch Manning to be his uncles and his grandfather. Does Steve Sarkisian think that? He's not even putting the kid in on 4th and 1 at the goal line.
Might not even be coaching at Texas.
That's fair. That's a different point.
Well, let's just say he is, though. Do you think Steve? Because I think it would be nuts to not want Quinn Ewers back. Made it to 2 straight semifinals. I mean, it's a known product. And you know what? If he gets hurt, there goes Arch Manning.
Well, the big thing about it is the draft just an NIL play for Quinn. Is he going to get more money now from somewhere? Because I don't know if y'all saw it, but I saw it. All the reports of teams wanting Quinn Ewers. I saw Ohio State. I saw Alabama. And I'm talking big money. We saw what Carson Beck just got paid at Miami. Is Quinn Ewers basically declaring is a play to get more NIL money?
You know what would be a move? Transfer to Texas A&M. You want an NIL play, transfer to Texas.
I don't know. I think Mike
go to College Station.
Straight.
Go to College Station.
And right now,
want to make a splash.
Right now, he's projected as the 52nd overall pick.
Yeah. So,
and what number as quarterback?
He would go.
What would that be?
So right now, I mean, if we want to go through the order, I mean, you can have Cam Ward or Shedeur Sanders, 1 or 2, whichever one floats your boat. I mean, Jalen Milroe's coming into the number 3 quarterback right now.
Yeah, so I mean, to your
point.
And
then Quinn Ewers, and after Quinn.
The class ain't deep, brother.
That's what I'm saying. And if I'm Quinn Ewers and I have that injury history, because it's funny, you can look at the both sides of the coin on that. The way you brought up the injury history with Michael Penix Jr., it obviously worked out. But Quinn Ewers, it just seems like he's a little bit more fragile than most. I just wonder if Quinn Ewers goes and he breaks his leg. God forbid, I hope it doesn't happen. Or breaks his arm or something. Now, you think your draft stock is down this year? You go and do that and just have an okay year? Or maybe it was more Sarkisian than it was Quinn Ewers. Maybe that was the thing, which you could find out. Maybe there's a little bit of fraudulence in there. Maybe where you go, the offensive line isn't great. And you look even worse than you did. That was my point.
I mean, and we think about it. I mean, what I've been doing is looking at the 2026 quarterback NFL draft. And right now, if these guys, I mean, you got Nico, you got Lenorris, you got Garrett Nussmeier, I mean, you got Drew Aller, you got Sam Levitt. I mean, would it be better for him to go in the class next year? Probably not.
Well, I mean, all of those names have to prove it too.
You got Cade Klubnik, who proved it to me.
I think Cade might be the
best one out of all of them.
I always go back to a bird in the hand is better than 2 in the bush. Because who knows? It's a gamble either way. But to me, and I wonder this, and I want to know what the chat thinks about this too. If Carson Beck would have declared for the NFL draft, do you think Quinn stays in college? Do you think some of these guys are looking? They obviously have to be. Yeah. They're looking at who. All right, Jalen Milroe's going. Well, Carson Beck's staying. All right, I'm going to go. Wait, if Jalen Milroe and Carson Beck went, do you think Quinn Ewers would have come back?
Yeah, another part of this a problem is like there's so much uncertainty with how long you're allowed to play college football anymore. Yeah, it's just crazy that we don't know. Like here, I'm looking at right now year by year. So he spent 2021 with OSU and then 3 years with Texas. That's 4 years. Now, granted, he didn't play with the Buckeyes, so let's just say that's a redshirt year. Could have another year. But again, like, could he play for 2 or even 3 more college seasons? The fact no one knows the answer to that is wild. I did have our producer, Justine, pull a couple plays from here because this does bode well for Quinn Ewers. I think this was when he got hurt a couple years ago in that big game against Alabama, and I want to immediately follow it up with a play of him beating Alabama the very following year, just to show, like, here's some scenarios of how he did bounce back from injury.
Go ahead and play it. And this is
Ewers sprinting out, reverses, lets it go wisely, and just throws it out.
Remember, this was Alabama at Texas in 2022.
Boy, Sark getting cute at the one, huh?
Yeah.
How many times, bud? How many times? Yeah, I remember that. He got absolutely drunk.
But it was a home and home. He goes to Tuscaloosa the very following year, and this was Nick Saban's final year at Alabama, and he throws balls like this.
Go ahead and play it. This is the one you did huddle up on, right, D?
I think so. Yep. Condensed splits. Post over the top. Look at that.
Yeah.
So, look, I mean, the kid's got skills. Obviously, he's one of the top 10 quarterback recruits ever coming out of high school.
And he has the chance to go, realistically, if you look at it, be the second highest quarterback ever drafted out of Texas.
Yeah, and I wonder.
Who?
Vince Young.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, out of University.
Yeah.
I thought you meant the state of Texas. I'm like, Matt Stafford was from Texas.
I'm very interested because Quinn's got good arm strength. I don't think he has great arm strength. He's not going to run the 40 great. He's not going to broad jump great. I wonder how the combine and all that stuff is going to go for him, how much he's going to do. He's going to have a pro day, and it'll probably look good. But again, timing and circumstances, everything here, and I think he made the right decision. I heard somebody on social media was like, well, he kind of reminds me of Jared Stidham. I don't hate that comp. I don't hate it. I feel like Jared was a little more athletic than he was, though.
And this isn't final either. I mean, Carson Beck declared and Cam Ward a year ago.
It could be a leverage play.
It could be a leverage play.
Yeah.
If you're Quinn Ewers to get more money in NIL situations. Because regardless of what we want to say, there will be teams, high-profile teams, in college football that would love to have.
I see what you're saying. You're talking about what Miami did a year ago with Cam Ward.
Correct.
Basically to drag him back out from declaring.
Correct. Well, it's what you have players do that hop in the transfer portal at schools now to leverage the school they're currently at to pay more NIL money to keep them. I've heard some stories, too, in college basketball of that are absolutely nuts. I'm talking guys going into the portal like the last day out of nowhere you can go in the portal to up the ante of the NIL money that they get. It's a business, man. It's a business. All right, let's get to the chat.
All right, Chad, hit that like, hit that subscribe button. If you donate on topic, it will get read. We're going to start the day off with Dylan Abell. What's up, man? There are 6 teams that need QBs and a couple more that have aging QBs, like the Rams and the Seahawks. I think going to the Rams would be the best possible situation. He'd fit well into their scheme.
Stetson?
Yeah, I don't.
The mailman.
Well, have Stetson Bennett?
I think they both like Coors Light or whatever. I will say, I think, too, and I talked about this in the open, he's not a guy that's going to come in his rookie year and win the job, I don't think. I think there's a pretty good probability that if he's ever going to be an NFL starter, it's going to take a couple years. You may have to have somebody kind of go down. I think about a name like Spencer Rattler, who goes to the Saints. I know Spencer wasn't great, but Derek Carr's there.
I think it's Sam Darnold.
I don't think that's a bad comp either. But he reminds me more of Josh Rosen than Sam Darnold because Sam has some witch in him. You go back and watch Darnold's college tape.
Wiggle to him.
He's running too. Like Sam can really move. I think it's more like he's kind of more Josh Rosen. I know Rosen wasn't great, but I think he could end up at a place that is perfect for his timeline to give him the best opportunity to possibly be a starter.
Let's go to a $5 donation from Bama Ben. What's up, guys? He said, hate to break it to you, but Quinn Ewers will be the starter at Alabama next year.
How would Alabama fans feel about that? How would they feel if? David, how would you put on your Alabama hat? We both live with Alabama women. How would Alabama fans feel about getting Quinn Ewers?
Yeah, they'd be in the, well, you better prove it to me. Well, they're
already in
we'll love it when you're great and not a moment before. That's interesting because talking about Michael Penix Jr., who coached him, Kalen DeBoer coached him. He wants one of those guys to sit in the pocket and make 30 NFL throws every game. Jalen Milroe was never that guy, even though Jalen Milroe brings other strengths to the table. Man, I just don't know. Again, that doesn't talk about the injury history at all. Like, you're still going to have that at any moment. But, again, everybody can get hurt playing the game. It's a violent game.
You think Quinn Ewers is a better fit at Alabama than Jalen Milroe would be?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. I don't know. I still think you can do more. I think they put Jalen Milroe in positions to use his skill set this past year. I really do think Nick was calling him more in the quarterback run game than Tommy Rees.
Go look at the LSU game.
Yeah.
Like, go look at the first half of the Georgia game. Again, I always go back to who would I least want to defend? I would much rather have to play defense against Quinn Ewers than Jalen Milroe.
Okay, you say that, but now switch out the name with Joe Burrow. I'd take Joe Burrow all day.
I'd take Joe Burrow. I think Joe Burrow's leaps and bounds ahead of Quinn.
Or even the quarterback that was there before Jalen Milroe, Bryce Young.
Yeah,
give me Bryce Young at Alabama the way that he was, right? But I don't know if Quinn brings that to the table.
Let's get a $5 donation from Colson. Appreciate it, Colson. He says, this is a weaker quarterback class this year, but man, is it a strong running back class. Sampson, Junkins, Henderson, etc. Damn, fellas, it's going to be a good one.
It ebbs and flows. It's like recruiting. Some years out of high school, there's a lot of really good quarterbacks. Some years, there's not, and there's a lot of really good offensive linemen or tackles or running backs or whatever. So, yeah, again, that's what I'm saying, buy the dip. Strike while the iron's hot. We talked about Prime going to the Cowboys yesterday, strike while the iron's hot. I think Quinn Ewers. And, again, I love your point, though, Blaine. Like, it may really be a leverage play.
Yeah.
It may really actually be a leverage play. And if he gets a good grade back or he feels good about where he could go, maybe he decides to go in there. But you could really up the ante with some of these teams.
And on the running back point, anyone who's watched the Detroit Lions play, they understand, hey, you can take a running back as high as 12 or whatever, like they took Jahmyr Gibbs, and have success.
You know what's funny to me, though? I know we got to move on, but all that talk about the running backs not getting paid and nobody respects the running backs, look where they're getting drafted now. Like, they're getting drafted higher. You remember the Lions drafted Jahmyr Gibbs, and everybody, like, including me, was like, I don't know why you did that there. Bijan Robinson. You took him there, and I mean, it's working out. So it's been kind of a fun resurgence to see in the running back room. But all right, let's move on here. Coney got a big game on Monday that we will be live streaming from Mission Cigar and Social. We have a ton of people that watch that. If you don't know what it is, basically, you watch the game, we watch the game, we commentate it. You put it on mute, we'll tell you where we at so we can be synced up on time. We're doing live bets, live breakdowns like only we can do it. We have a ton of traffic in there, and your boy's going to be back after becoming a pop. I'll be that baby, Pappy. All right, Coney. What
National championship. The line right now is -8 Buckeyes, so it did come down even a bit from when it opened. Like Blaine, we were talking about, it was -9.5 when it opened. The point line 45.5. But the way I want to get into this for the national championship next Monday is to play a little which is more likely. You know, we do this frequently, so I have some prompts for you guys. Just hit me with which you think is more likely. Will Howard in this game, quarterback for the Buckeyes, throws multiple interceptions, or Notre Dame scores a defensive/special teams touchdown? Which is more likely?
I'm going to say that Notre Dame scores a special teams or defensive touchdown because they've been so advantageous on those sides of the ball. And I think their strength is their ability to play complementary football in all three phases. You know, Notre Dame's really not elite at anything. They're just really good at everything. And they're really good in the clutch on defense. So I think even early, I would not be surprised with as much man coverage as they run. And we talked about that being a weakness. If maybe Al Golden brought some heat and it got to Will Howard and Will tried to dump it off, whether it's, he's trying to replace the blitz with the ball, overthrows it, safety picks it, goes and runs back for a touchdown. And then on special teams, guys, I mean, it's funny. The guy who ran the kickback in the playoff earlier to help them win the game was at Marshall when Marshall beat Notre Dame a couple years ago. So they got some guys that can do it. And I also feel like there's going to be a block punt in this game. I just don't know who's going to block it. But I would say it's more likely that Notre Dame is able to make that play.
Will Howard, 10 interceptions on the year, but only one game, multiple picks. That was against Michigan, which they lost. So which do you think is more?
I would say Will Howard throwing multiple picks because his picks are just atrocious when he throws them. You know, it's not really batted balls or one-on-one coverage. When Will Howard throws interceptions, it's extremely bad reads. And another thing I would look at, I don't think Ohio State's going to be surprised in this game, especially on special teams. After all what Marcus Freeman did against Georgia, I think special teams will be a huge emphasis when it comes to Ryan Day and his staff. There'll be no tricking them. Fake punt, fake field goal, kickoff return. I think Ohio State's too athletic. You want to see depth. Depth shows up in special teams. I don't think they will be tricked, but I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if Will Howard threw multiple interceptions this game and they won by 14.
Yeah.
Well, that could happen. I wonder, too, I always think if you feel like you're the better team going in, and you can make a good argument, this may be the best matchup for Ohio State throughout all of the playoffs. I think there's an argument for Tennessee, could possibly be them, not for Texas. But if you're Ryan Day, and we talked about maybe Chip Kelly calling it conservative, do you go in this game and say, listen, we just don't need to beat ourselves? That's what Notre Dame does. They set the trap and they wait until you beat yourself. And that's a compliment to Notre Dame. But do you say, all right, on special teams, we're not taking any chances. I don't care if it's 4th down and 15 or it's 4th down and 2, we're going safe. On kickoff return, we're fair catching everything. On punt, we're going to play it safe. We're not going to go after the punt. We're going to fair catch every return to not play scared, but mitigate the amount of risk against Notre Dame. That's what the stuff I find fascinating.
Next one up. Notre Dame quarterback Riley Leonard finishes the game with 250 or more total yards. All right, total yards, total. including in the run game, or defensive end Jack Sawyer has another strip sack touchdown like he did against Quinn Ewers in Texas. Which is more likely?
I think it's got to be Jack Sawyer, because you look at the injury situation for Notre Dame on the edge at tackle. I mean, it's gone back and forth. You lost a guy early in fall camp. He was able to come back. But I just feel like with Riley Leonard, to get 250 total yards, you're going to have to throw it. And also, sack yardage counts against total yardage in college. So there's a couple different things, which I hate. I think it's ridiculous. But at the end of the day, I don't see Riley Leonard in this offense being able to line up and say, you know what? Q counter, power read, Q power, zone read. They're going to have to take some shots over the top to at least soften up this Ohio State defense a little bit. So as far as him getting to the 250 total yard mark, I just don't see it. But those injuries on the edge, Sawyer's capability, and he's such a clutch player too. And you know what? When he was running that fumble back for Quinn Ewers for the touchdown, you know what I was thinking the whole time? Jack Sawyer was the guy that really wanted to fight everybody at Michigan for planting that flag. There's something about this cat I just like. I just like him. He's kind of an old school grinder. I think he may make a big play. I actually think he may intercept it. I think he may get an interception in this game on the tip pass.
Which that wouldn't necessarily fit into the prompt.
It wouldn't, but, you know.
Fair enough, though. Which do you think is more likely, 250 yards for Riley Leonard?
I just don't think, I mean, not even Riley Leonard. I don't know if Notre Dame as an offense is going to get to 250 yards.
Oh.
To be honest.
I think that's crazy, dude.
And for Notre Dame to win this football game, it needs to be a low-scoring football game. Like it does. You're not going to outshoot.
What's the number? If it gets above this number, Notre Dame can't win. Is it 24?
I think it's 21.
I think it's 21.
I think it's 21. I think that it'd have to be like a 21-17 game.
Coney, what do you think?
I think you're on the right track. That's the score they played about too when this game was in. Was this game in Columbus a year ago when it was a home game? Remember? Was that 17-14, something like that?
Yeah.
Notre Dame didn't line up right on defense.
Didn't have enough guys on the field.
Didn't have enough guys on the field. So that was a low-scoring game, and the Buckeyes still were able to win that one.
Yeah, and I think Jack Sawyer is going to be a first-day pick. I would be surprised if both these edges.
Ohio State's got a couple of them.
And just the weaknesses. And Riley, I mean, if there's anything from Riley, I mean, he doesn't protect his backside, his blind side that well. So I wouldn't be surprised if Jack gets in there. I don't know if he'll pick it up and get that favorable bounce he did against Texas, which you go back and look at that. But I wouldn't be surprised to see a strip fumble.
Worst roommate ever.
Next one up, we do have a couple Jeremiah superstars coming up in this game. So what's more likely? Notre Dame running back Jeremiah Love has 100 yards rushing, or OSU wide receiver Jeremiah Smith has 150 yards receiving.
Golly, in the first half, Jeremiah Smith. Are you kidding me? And listen, what Love has done, I mean, that was the best 2-yard run I've ever seen in the semifinal to score that touchdown, which was a huge play for them against Penn State. And it's not because I don't think Notre Dame is good on defense, but we broke this down in our preview, which you guys need to go back and watch if you haven't seen it yet, the amount of man coverage that Notre Dame runs. So, all right, we're going to say, we're going to bracket you in man coverage, or if it's 2-man on third and passing, I get it. But if we're running man-free and you're going to shade me to either side, you can't double everybody. Like, that's not how this works. You can match coverage, you can do different things. I'm going to be fascinated to see how early Chip Kelly gets the ball to Jeremiah Smith underneath, even against man coverage. Because if it's me and you run a ton of man coverage like that, I'm putting Jeremiah Smith in the slot. I'm getting him off the ball. Not that he can't beat press, but I'm going to motion him around, start him in the slot, run him on the overs, run him on the drags. And guess what? If you want to change up what you do and play too high and run some zone coverage, nothing wrong with a little bubble. I mean, heck, go back and watch some of these games. A lot of the early wins that Will Howard and this offense have gotten has been through getting the ball to Jeremiah Smith underneath and then letting that cat go fire it up. So give me Jeremiah Smith over 150 yards for the game for sure, maybe even in the first half, maybe even touchdown on the first play.
All right, I'm going to switch it up a little bit for you. What's more likely?
Great.
100 yards rushing for Jeremiah Love or 250 yards receiving for Jeremiah Smith?
I would go Jeremiah Love. I mean, look, you can go back to the first prompt. I'm just wondering how many times is Jeremiah Smith going to get doubled in this football game?
Mm-hmm.
How many times is he going to be taken away just pre-snap, and then it leaves the other guys like Mbuka, like Carnell Tate, like Henderson, a running back to step up and make big plays like we saw against the Texas game. Jeremiah Love is a hell of a running back. I mean, hell, he hurdled a guy for a 1-yard line. It's still one of the 1-yard gain is still one of the greatest hurdles I've seen in a long time. He's a great back. It's just hard to bust big runs against the Ohio State defense because they're so fast. They're so physical, especially on the point. So I would lean Jeremiah Smith, but, Jeremiah loves to get back. He can break a couple tackles and maybe hit a 70-yarder.
Well, at what point, though, is the move, if you're Chip Kelly and Ryan Day, to say, you know what, we're going to use Jeremiah Smith as a decoy, right? And we're going to throw them out of doubling them. Because you got Carnell Tate. Yeah. You got Igbuka. You got G. Scott. If you're killing me with all these other guys, eventually I've got to make a move and get somebody off Jeremiah Smith, and then it's lollipop.
They're the type of team that could do that, it was shocking to me. I mean, say what you will about Texas on offense last week. Texas's defense showed up, and they were able to contain
best game plan against Ohio State.
Not only that, I was watching with what the Rams were doing with the Vikings the other day. There were times they tripled Justin Jefferson in a very unique way that became zone coverage, where it's kind of like man and zone. It was like the Justin Jefferson coverage. There may have to be an element of that goes on if Jeremiah Smith is the reason that you're just getting beat right at the jump, but we'll see. Two more here. What's more likely, Notre Dame kicks 5 field goals in this game or records 5 sacks?
Oh, this is a good one. You always pull one out of left field when we do this. That's really good. 5 field goals or they get 5 sacks. Give me 5 field goals. I can see a world in which Notre Dame's able to move the ball decently in between the 20s, or they force a turnover or a couple in the and get close to the red zone. But I'm still lacking in figuring out a way that Notre Dame is going to be able to move the ball inside the red zone when the field shrinks, because it's just going to make it tougher. We talk about it all the time. OCs don't get paid to move the ball in between the 20s. They get paid to score touchdowns when they get inside the red zone. So give me the 5 field goals over the 5 sacks. I wonder what the over-under for Notre Dame field goals is for this game.
We should look into that. What do you say?
Give me the 5 sacks, just because the way Notre Dame's going to have to attack Ohio State in this football game. You're not just going to
pressure.
If you're going to run man coverage, you better bring something, or they're going to destroy you, especially with the talent they have at receiver. So if I'm Marcus Freeman, I'm firing all my bullets. In this game. I'm unloading the clip. So give me the 5 sacks.
Last one here. What's more likely? Ryan Day goes for the first 4th down call the Buckeyes find themselves in, or that Marcus Freeman calls a fake punt at some point in the game?
Oh, fake punt. If you're Notre Dame, and again, I don't want to turn this into Notre Dame has no chance. They do have a chance, but it's the Bourbon Bowl. I mean, you can't hold anything back. You're going to need some magic. Now, that could be a fake punt. It could be a surprise onside kick. It could be a fake field goal or whatever. But I want to give them some advice here. If you're going to run the fake punt, don't do it on 4th and 1 or 5. Do it on 4th and 7. Do it on 4th and 8. Because again, go back to what I said earlier. If I'm Ohio State, you got the punt team out there and I'm on defense, safe, buddy. Let's get the nose out, throw a returner in there. I'm not taking any chances, even though I did have a special teams coach who's still doing it at Division I level say, the best time to run a fake is against safe, which I don't know.
Best time to run a fake is after you just ran one.
That's true.
Then they'll never
do it again.
What do you say, quickly?
I would say that Ryan Day goes for it on whatever.
He's always doing something like that.
Because, look, is it going to be the first drive? It's going to be on script. So usually Chip Kelly's one of the best in the nation.
4th and 1.
On script. So I'm guessing in my head they're at least going to make it to the 50-yard line. And I think you can trust your defense enough on the backside of that to go for it on a 4th down. If it's 4th and 5 and I'm anywhere close to the 50 and I'm Ryan Day, I'm going for it.
Good. I love it. Nice job, boys.
Well, maybe Lou Holtz won't make fun of you. But if you don't drink great coffee, I'm going to make fun of you. And, buddy, do we have the place where you can find the best coffee, light roast, dark roast, everything in between. They also got espresso that David drinks 35 of a day. That's why he does nothing but run around here, do push-ups, and give you great sports takes. And they got a coffee quiz, guys, on their website. So you can get matched, just the tender of coffee, with the blend perfectly tailored to your specific taste. And the best part about all this, outside of the delicious coffee and the various selection, is that it supports a fantastic cause. And right now, whether it's the first responders they help or the veterans they help, we know how important those people are. Look at what's happening in California right now and the first responders and what they're having to go through to try and contain that wildfire. So every purchase you make goes to helping those groups. So it's delicious coffee and an awesome mission. Head to blackriflecoffee.com right now and use code DailyWire, all one word, for 20% off America's coffee. That's blackriflecoffee.com. Use code DailyWire. And guys, speaking of awesome, we got some new snapback hats. Put them on the screen. Look at these bad boys.
Wow.
Look, we've had some pretty cool merch, all right, since we've been here at the Daily Wire. This one takes the cake. I may have to wear one on the show here soon, and maybe even turn it backwards. That's a J-Boy reference if you didn't know, but you can find that. Go to the Daily Wire's website, go to the merch store, check that out. You buy that, you can look great, and it helps us as well. I tell you, we've already had a bunch of people on social media tag us in them. That is a fire hat. I absolutely love that hat.
That's awesome.
All right, let's get to the chat here, and let's move on to talk about a little bit of Punter Go.
Let's go to Edward H. with the $5 donation. Appreciate it, Edward. He says, I can bet you all the money I have in my bank account that Ohio State and Ryan Day will be going for it on the first 4.
What if it's 4th and 9? What if it's 4th and 9?
Where are you?
Well, that's the biggest thing. Are you at the 37? Maybe you don't feel good about the 54-yard field goal. And then you look around at who you have on offense, and you're like, yeah, let's go for it. Or maybe he's afraid Lou Holtz will make fun of him if he doesn't go for it. Or beat
Let's go to a $5 donation. Sorry for cutting you off there. From Tim. Appreciate it, Tim. Says, the way Blaine talks about Notre Dame, you would think they'd be the school of the blind. What bad things have I said about Notre Dame?
Yeah, you're not giving them much of a shot.
Why do you keep calling Notre Dame a bunch of blind kids?
I don't. Look, congrats on the season, but now you're about to walk in and get your ass whooped for 4 quarters. That's not my fault.
Well, I always see that commercial where they're like, the new helmets helped out the deaf school. And like, oh, man, I'm like, that's pretty cool. But I want to see one that helps out the blind school. You want to talk about a helmet that's like generational?
So there's a spot in the market.
A helmet that can cure blindness?
Come on. Let's get rich.
Look, I'm over here trying to make good ideas. I got to book a good idea.
Yeah.
Let's go to Eddie Sotero. What's up, Eddie? He says Notre Dame should send free tickets to Brian Kelly so he can finally make it to a national championship game.
Yeah. Do you see they asked Brian Kelly, like, are you going to be rooting for Notre Dame? And he's like, yeah.
Yeah, he said, yeah.
Yeah, he's like, yeah. I mean, what are
we
you
should
supposed
talk
to
about
say?
that tomorrow.
What are you supposed to say? Like, no? What if he's like, no, I hope they get beat by 1,000. Deep down, he don't want them to win.
There's no way.
Don't let him lie to you. I wouldn't want him to win. Are you kidding me? I don't want my ex doing good.
There's no way Brian Kelly really wants Notre Dame to win this championship.
There's no chance in hell.
He came out and did what he had to do.
Yeah.
You have to say that.
It's just there's no way. All right, one more we got to move.
Let's go to Friedman Adventures. Who is the pressure on in the Notre Dame-Ohio State game, and could that make a difference?
Like head coach-wise?
Maybe, yeah.
I mean, the pressure's on Ohio State. You're the favorite.
Yeah, true. It's one of those situations where, like, if Notre Dame was even a bigger underdog, like if it was truly a little giant situation, like even more pressure would mount on the Buckeyes. Are they a big enough underdog to sort of like pull that kind of thing? You know?
Well, I mean, from a spread standpoint, 9.5 is a lot of points.
Well, it's down to 8 now.
Yeah, I know, but I'm saying what it came out as.
Yeah.
I mean, 9.5 in the national championship game is a lot of points. It'd be the same way in the Super Bowl. I mean, we thought.
I'm just talking about like that's, but to my point, like, what if they were 30-point underdogs?
Oh God,
like,
something's messed up.
Then you have
Speaking of school of the blind, they may really be playing the school.
So
of the
somebody
blind.
screwed up somewhere.
All right, let's get to Punter Go.
All right, Punter Go. It's time for our debate segment. Each of us will make a statement. The other guys will affirm that by going for it, or they can reject that statement by punting it. Also, get your phone calls in when the lines open. Those lines open in 18 minutes. 1-855-236-3228. The first Punter Go today, I want to talk about Steelers coach Mike Tomlin. 18 seasons with the franchise as the head coach, never had a losing season. I repeat, this guy in 18 seasons in the NFL has never had a losing season, but only one Super Bowl win. Won the Super Bowl in year 2 after Bill Cowher had left the Steelers. And now Mike Tomlin's come out and said anyone who, he basically had a simple message for the teams who potentially could trade for him.
For the coach.
For him, like we saw with like the Bill Belichick back in the day. So he has a simple message for these teams and said anyone potentially interested in trading for my services, quote unquote, save your time. All right. My statement to you guys is Steelers fans are right to want to move on from Mike Tomlin. Punter Go.
I'm going to say go. First off, what a great situation you're in when your job security, you're not in charge of who gets traded, but you're telling everybody he's not getting traded. I'm going to say go, and not because I don't think Mike Tomlin is a Hall of Fame coach, not because what he has done in the past wasn't incredibly impressive, and not because the color of his skin, like a lot of people make it out to be.
Bigot.
It's because the regression is the regular season isn't good enough. Doing well in the regular season and just making the playoffs isn't good enough anymore. For multiple reasons. One, you're at the Steelers, one of the most historic franchises, one of the most successful franchises in the NFL. You've won Super Bowls. You've always been relevant. The passion of that fan base is incredible. It defines a whole city and pretty much a whole state at the end of the day, but you haven't done it lately. Something has to change, and the off-the-field problems are stacking up. That's what scares me the most. He doesn't discipline these guys at wide receivers. And George Pickens is going to just be added to the list. Antonio Brown, Deontay Johnson. I can go down it. I think the Steelers fans should be a little bit more upset at what's gone on in the playoff. I know a lot of them are, but Mike Tomlin's got to make some adjustments to get them back to the filet mignon.
Like I said, Super Bowl win in year 2, another Super Bowl appearance in year 4, right? But since then, no AFC championship appearances, 10-7 each of the last 2 years, 9-8 and 9-7 the 2 years prior to that. Steelers fans are right to move on from Mike Tomlin.
I'm punting this, and I can throw a saying at you really quickly that the grass is not always greener on the other side. It's really not. If you lose him, trust me, with all the fiasco going around in the NFL and getting a head coach, consistency keeps you on the beam. And this guy's been consistent his entire career. I mean, 16-plus years of winning records, making the playoffs, been to the Super Bowl twice. And to be honest with you, I thought from a player development and culture standpoint, I think Mike Tomlin does a pretty damn good job. I really do. I think he just had there's always a couple bad apples. And as long as he's been coaching and everything else, I just think from a competitive standpoint, I mean, look at the defense. The defense is still the same. You still have big key guys, big players. And Mike Tomlin, he's been to 2 Super Bowls, so you know he can do it, all right? And sometimes just getting there is enough. If you want to stay competitive and you want your name in that ring like Mike Tomlin has kept you there, I'm just saying to get rid of this guy, go look at what's going on with the Cowboys. All right, go look at what's going on with the Jets and all these other guys. The grass is not always greener on the other side, and I think Mike Tomlin is the perfect fit. And I think he will probably get Pittsburgh back to another Super Bowl before his run is over.
Well, it's tough when your couple bad apples are always your biggest superstars because those are the guys you need the most. My thing to you, I saw this going around that Mike Tomlin was only able to win early, like win big early because of Bill Cowher's guys. That seems like more of a college thing because Mike Tomlin's not in charge of recruiting, right? But say what you will, the Steelers, only 3 head coaches in franchise history, so they stick with a guy.
Yeah, well, they're due to make a couple mistakes. I mean, you've done it, and again.
Well, like, who would you go get?
Well, right now.
Who would be a great fourth coach?
No, not even who would you go get. Who would be your second and third option? Because I know who your number 1 option is going to be. It's probably going to be Ben Johnson.
Yeah. If you asked Steelers fans and said, all right, look, we can get rid of you can get rid of Tomlin and have Ben Johnson, or keep Mike Tomlin and tell Ben Johnson no. What percentage of them would say, no, I want Ben Johnson. I want a fresh start. I want a new start that doesn't degrade anything that he's done. But at the end of the day, they're not getting invited inside her house isn't good enough anymore for the Steelers. They're ready to walk in there and go upstairs and handle business. You like that?
I mean,
I get it.
You're disgusting.
You're up next. Colt.
Mother of a minute, sex.
All right, guys, I have a couple of punter goes for you here. I'm going to say 2, but first we're going to start off with the Colts. The Colts will be the first home team in the first regular season game to host a game in Berlin. I want to get y'all's thoughts. You know, we've had games in London. This isn't the first time they've done this. What's your thoughts on the NFL should play international football games? David, punter, go.
Punt. How many times do I have to say it? Stop playing regular season games overseas internationally. And Roger Goodell's talking about now like the possibility of having a Super Bowl over there. Guy, please stop it. If you want to do this, you set up an exhibition in May. How cool would that be? Oh, the Ravens and the Steelers are going to play each other in Berlin in May. You know what? Everyone wins then. Not only do the Germans get to see it, but America wants to tune in too because there's no other football happening in May. Let's set up an outside of the season exhibition or at most preseason. I don't need you playing regular season games over there. You said it was the Colts. Imagine if you're a Colts fan and you have season tickets and now you have one less home game that you get to go see. What do I get my money back? What's up with the seat license? Yeah, I'm not trying to go to Philly and get any fights. We'll get to that later.
Yeah.
What, are you going to comp me my money back on the seats, the season tickets that I spent for? No, they're not. That's one less game I get to go take my kid to, even though I'm not a Colts fan, so I won't be there anyway.
All right, Jake, the NFL should play international football games, but are you punting or are you going?
I'm going because I love football. I want football to be the most popular thing in the world, from continent to continent, from pole to pole. And I want them, let us make you better. Let us make you better. Not saying that America does everything the best. We do most things the best. And I think from an international relations standpoint, can you imagine how many more allies we would get if we would introduce them to football? I think we could get peace in the Middle East right now if we get a couple college teams over there, an NFL team. I think this may be a play for the Colts to get that weirdo that sings all those songs over there and not let them back. That's what I'd be doing. But I want them to see it because I need you to understand.
What a way to catch straight.
I need you to understand it. And listen, what y'all did in World War II was real screwed up, all right? It was real screwed up. We all know it. But what a way to come together. Look at the game they had to watch this year. Ugh, did you see that? That was the last punishment for World War II. So give them a good game. Let's bring the international community together. No. It's the best thing that could happen to NATO. Let's go play it. Let's play it in Ghana.
Y'all stay over there. Let the globalists stay over there. This is America's game. It belongs in America. And also, you're not catching strays when you come out and say, this is our Colts. This is our team.
Dude, they invited him to the game.
Then again, I know the melody of it, so clearly something he's doing.
Well, if you think about
that, or that guy's the smartest person in the world because I see him on the field every Colts game doing that.
Well, if you think about it, you put that guy on one of those German Wiederhosens or something, it makes sense.
What'd you say?
He looks like him.
He just wanted to say wiener.
I said,
I don't think it's Wiener.
The only time I can think about
Wienerhosen.
That's what it sounded like. The only thing I think about when it comes to international games is David trying to read that thing from Greenland yesterday.
Ilsen.
Yeah, and then a couple paragraphs down, also known as the University of Greenland.
Yeah.
Just say that.
Yeah, that's a good. We're going to buy y'all anyway, so we're just going to change that from that old name that has a bunch of vowels next to each other.
What's the next?
All right, guys, let's go to the next one right here. And I know there's one guy super excited about to do this one. It's a little SEC basketball.
Yes!
I don't know if you've been paying attention
I love
this
college
lately.
Basketball.
I mean, we saw the Ole Miss-Alabama matchup last night where Ole Miss beat Alabama. But right now, the SEC is 185-23 versus out-of-conference opponents, which is extremely good. So my punter go question to y'all is the SEC taking over college basketball?
Punt.
David, punter, go.
Punt, you got to win the national championship first. And I've been consistent on this across multiple sports. First of all, let's just start with college basketball. A couple years ago during COVID, the Big Ten unbeatable. Remember when you could only play your conference and there was no out-of-conference games and data to lean on, so we didn't know who was really great? The Big Ten, best conference in college basketball. Big Ten's back. They're going to dominate. They get to the NCAA tournament. They don't win anything. Hadn't won a national championship in over 2 decades. That's how we gauge who is the most successful. Let's go to football. There was a couple years ago, the Big Ten, remember, Michigan and the Buckeyes got 50% representation in the college football playoff. Big Ten, best conference this year. Who ends up winning the national championship? Georgia. And the SEC still got to say, we are the premier and dominant conference in college football. And they were right in saying that, even though these last couple years, things have shaken up a bit. So, to that point, for SEC basketball, you need to kind of do what the Big Ten has been able to do in football these last couple years. Go win the national championship. I don't think we've seen one win it since Cal won it in 2014 with Kentucky. Go win the Natty this year with one of these teams, Bama, Auburn, one of them like that. And, then I think you can start to say, yeah, look, we've taken over a sport that we should have been dominating for decades.
All right, Jake, 183-25 versus out-of-conference opponents. And, just to throw this in there, Auburn is ranked number 1 in the nation. Is the SEC taking over college basketball? Punt or go?
Go. And it brings me so much personal blossoming joy to say this, because I grew up watching the SEC not be very good in basketball. Outside of a couple teams, it was a football conference. When the SEC decides they want to be the best at something, it is not a matter of if, it is a matter of when. It just means more is a slogan for a reason. The passion. It is bled over now from football into college basketball. There's no nights off. It's one thing to have a good non-conference night. This is historic. Historic. They're beating Houston, catching licks left and right. North Carolina struggles against SEC teams. Kansas, it is amazing to see this transformation and the depth of the league and the coaches in this league. Guys, last night, we had the 2 Alabama and Mississippi schools play each other in college basketball. I don't want to talk about it. And both of them were ranked. Both of them, each team in that game was ranked. I'm going to go ahead and make a couple predictions. 1, there will be 3 of 4 Final Four teams out of the SEC, and right now it is harder to win on the road in SEC basketball than it is in SEC football.
Yeah, go. You say that, and I'm watching the team I bet on yesterday, Alabama, lose. Maybe that's part of why I'm bitter today on this.
You're a little bit bitter.
Is because they blew my parlay. Auburn held strong yesterday. Alabama did not hold strong.
I loved your point about the national champion, though. Let
me ask you this, though, because I'm gonna re-ask it in this sort of way. Let's say you're right about the 3 out of 4 Final Four teams. Let's say 3 out of the 4 are SEC teams, and the national champion is still UConn three-peats, or it's Duke, right, with Cooper Flag, or it's Kansas, and they win the national championship. aren't SEC fans just making the same argument for basketball that other conferences have made traditionally for football, which is, well, we won the head-to-head in the, out-of-conference matchups during the regular season, but they didn't have the postseason success to go with it.
And I think it's kind of singular if it's like a UConn or a Duke that's like a basketball school. You look at how down the ACC is. If Duke wins it, it's not like, hey, the ACC is better than the SEC. It's kind of that singular team, right? And we hear this argument against the SEC in football all the time. Oh, it's top heavy. It's either going to be Georgia or it's going to be Alabama, or now it's going to be Texas that they're in the conference. I think 3 out of 4 would speak volumes. I think maybe an even better question is, does 2 out of 4 do it, right? Does 2 out of 4 SEC teams in the Final Four, does that kind of in the argument? And another thing is, where are they going to seed them in the NCAA tournament? Like, how many in those 4 quadrants are they going to try and be as even as possible with SEC teams? Are they going to do what they do in college baseball? And they're like, oh, super regional? Most the SEC. Good luck.
For you guys, would you rather have 3 out of the 4 be SEC teams and they don't win the championship, or one of the teams is an SEC team and they win the championship?
I would rather have one of the SEC teams win the championship if it's not Kentucky. Because everybody would be like, oh, it's Kentucky out of the SEC like it always is. So I'll add a little bit, even more nuance to that.
All right, let's go to JC. What's up, man? He says, look at baseball and football. A lot of national championships recently, and that's the determining factor when it comes to domination.
Well, and we have this argument all the time. Like, how do you define domination? I've always said I think it's overall record out of conference. I think it's national championship, and I think it's draft. I think those are the 3 ways that I look at it. You could say money. I don't really buy into that because there's some places that have a bunch of money, but they don't dominate in the sport. So I think it just depends on how you define it.
And then I don't include draft in that, really. I mean, that's a different thing that an individual coach can use and say, look how many players I put in the draft. But talking about basketball specifically, like imagine if you're a team, a smaller team, and you want old guards, right? Like we use juniors and seniors and 5th-year guys to be able to punch above our weight and beat the likes of Kentucky, who year after year just had one-and-done
like
guys.
FAU and stuff.
Right? It's like, hey, you guys aren't going to be great pros, but you know what? You're scrappy, and we're going to make an NCAA run every single year. I'd love to have that team.
And you can play for 10 years.
That's true, too.
Let's go to G. What's up, man? He says, the SEC can't help itself, can they? They just always want to be the best at everything.
Well,
no shame in that.
Who's going to carry the boats?
Let's go to a $5 donation from Sean. Appreciate it, Sean. So for the love of everything, will someone step up other than the SEC? I already have to deal with it with football and baseball. They can't have basketball.
No, like this, like you want to really piss people off, like really upset them. Say the SEC is the best basketball conference. You think they get mad in football? This is totally different because the argument's always been, even if you think the SEC's dominated football, it's like, well, look at y'all in basketball. But now the SEC runs baseball, softball, gymnastics, equestrian. You give them basketball. I mean,
what about hockey?
Well, I mean, let's geographically. I mean,
just don't make us care.
Well, that's
just don't. Here's the thing.
That's kind of my
point.
Don't
piss us off enough to care about it because we'll look like Connor McDavid in them skate. You want to talk about flipping the script?
Vanderbilt will take over the Preds Stadium here.
That's exactly right. And people actually show up and not in the 3rd quarter.
Let's go to Tomcat. He says, have the games in Canada. Get them used to American values before they become an official state.
What do we think about that? What, David? What would you be down for us having Canada in the United States?
Can we just get back America first? Like, let's actually drain the swamp first.
Yeah,
and then we can talk about getting other countries.
I saw this TikTok where these people in Canada were like, no, we don't want to be the United States because we'd have to be American.
Let's just get America.
Y'all's army rides horses, dog. Don't play that.
Sound like y'all got an option.
Yeah. You sound like you'd have a chance.
You sound like you got choices, dog.
Yeah,
There's one choice. All right, let's go to Kev. What's up, Kev? He says, fella, what about SEC wrestling? Is there room for us to take over in that? Wrestling's huge up north.
Doesn't Penn State dominate?
Huge up north.
Like Iowa State, Penn State. Hell, I saw Ohio State and Rutgers on the Big Ten Network. They had wrestling at my high school.
They did?
And it was kind of big.
We didn't have it.
I went to college, it was huge.
Again, too, but yeah, out in Colorado. Well, it's just, when do you care about it? Like, make somebody care about it. That's why I said it's not if, it's when, once they decide. You got to do something to decide. Like, and we saw that with basketball. We've seen it with baseball. We've seen it with softball. I don't know. That's interesting.
Let's go to JH. What's up, man? He says, guys, to be honest, Duke is carrying the ACC
They are
on its shoulders right now. that conference is an absolute joke.
Hey,
that wasn't the case when I was growing up. It's sad to see.
And yeah, North Carolina's down this year. They don't have
it's
so
just
weird.
Them, all the North Carolina schools. I mean, Wake Forest used to be great. Yep. Chris Paul went there. Georgia Tech was good when I was growing up.
Well, your boys at Michigan, man,
they're pretty good.
They're looking pretty. Kansas plays Iowa State tonight. That's going to be an absolute fist fight.
All right, do we got a poll? We do. Who won, punt or go? Blaine, Jake, or David? Pretty tight here, fellas. David coming in at 32%, as well as myself. Crain taking it home with 35%. Congratulations.
The SEC talk.
All right, guys, good show.
Yeah, that'll get them going. Yeah, that'll always get
later.
Them going.
All right, let's move on. The phone lines, Coney, they're open here in 1 minute. Can you tell the good people the number, please?
1-855-236-3228. Call in. You get a 60-second shot clock to give us your hottest sports take.
Yeah, we want to hear from you. We're going to get you on a second, guys. Let's get to our NFL divisional round playoff best bets.
Come on.
Coming up
some
this
money.
Weekend.
Shout out
Run
Illinois
through this quick.
Night.
Then we're going to get to Get Off My Lawn. Then we're going to get to phones. Blaine, give me your best NFL playoff divisional round bets. Let's make the people some money. Let's make them some money this weekend.
I got 5 of them here.
You got 5?
Right,
good. I got
5.
6. Mine's bigger.
Okay. Well, you don't have to flex on me like that. We'll talk about that later after the show.
Good.
I like the Kansas City Chiefs minus 8.5. Mm-hmm. I think the Texans are the most overrated team in the playoffs right now. Their offense has not been great. Their defense have showed up in moments. But the Chiefs in the playoffs are a different beast. They really are. We've seen it for multiple years. So the Chiefs laying 8.5. That's going off at minus 110 right now, which I like. And I also like Derrick Henry, 90-plus rushing yards. That's going off at minus 140. You can go back to the Bills game. He absolutely ran through that defense and just adding Lamar Jackson in the running game. And I love what Munkins does with the Wildcats.
He's going to look like a Yeti running in.
He's just an absolute freak. I'm going with an easy money here. Give me Jalen Hurts anytime touchdown. Okay. I mean, if you're anywhere near the 3-yard line, you know what they're going to do. It's going to be the push-tush. And I'm also going Baltimore.
Push-tush.
The push-tush.
God, I
thought I'm going quarterback sneak. Now, I don't mean to interrupt your flow.
I'm dyslexic. I'm sorry. Let's go to Baltimore Ravens minus 118. I think they're the better team than the Bills. I think they're a better roster, especially on the defensive side of the ball. They have more weapons on the offensive side of the ball. And look, Josh Allen, as good as he is, I just don't think he can beat the Ravens by himself. And then I'm going to go with the Redskins plus 10.5.
Oh, what'd you get it at?
Oh, well, I bought this up a point.
I did too. What'd you get it at?
Minus 136.
I got it minus 140.
Okay, I'll come down here with me. Minus 136. Look, as good as the Lions are, and they're a phenomenal football team, I think the one big question we've said about them is their defense this year. They've had multiple horrific injuries, 2 key players on their defense, and I promise you right now, JD's and Terry McLaurin, these boys on offense, are going to be ready to play. I think this will be a touchdown game, maybe one of those 4-point games. I think the Lions are going to win, but I do like the Redskins to cover in this football game.
God, I love that. I'm right there with you. I will take it down, the Redskins plus 10.5 from that minus 140 to that minus 136. Bartender, make it a double. And then give me the Bills, Ravens under 51.5. That's going off at minus 110. Had a betting expert, a guy who helped set the line, say 2 great offenses, take the under. 2 great defenses, take the over. I'm going to take the under at 51.5. These 2 teams possess the ball. I think these defenses are going to keep a lot of things in front of them, and the weather's not going to be very conducive to scoring a lot of points. Give me the Rams and the Eagles under 44.5. The Rams come in, lowest points per game heading into the playoffs at 21.6. The Eagles defense is like walking with Mordor with a hobbit around your neck. That's going to be tough. And then the Eagles have struggled on offense. I think the Rams defense, who had just oodles and noodles full of sacks against the Vikings, even though the Eagles offensive line is a little bit better, I like the under this game, 44.5. Then let's get into some touchdown scores here. Give me Amon-Ra St. Brown anytime touchdown at minus 120. I think there's going to be a lot of points in that game. A little nervous about the over in the 55.5 the more I think about it. But give me a Amon-Ra St. Brown anytime touchdown. Then I got 2 first touchdown scores for you. Knuckles coming off the injury list, helping Jahmyr Gibbs out. Jahmyr Gibbs is going to get him down to the 2. They're going to put Knuckles in. David Montgomery, he's going to score the first touchdown of the game. Detroit's going to go wild. They're going to show Eminem on the camera. That's going off at plus 500 for the first touchdown score. Then in the Bills game, snowy, right? Nasty. Give me Josh Allen, first touchdown scorer, going off at plus 700 on a 3rd down play action. Makes one guy miss, but after he boots out, goes and scores a touchdown. That's what it's going to be.
Remember, every under hit in the wild card round.
Yep.
So I like the unders that you're taking there. I like all the unders except for the Lions and Redskins because that game's going to be indoors, which that brings me to that game. I like Washington just plus the 9.5. I'm not even buying the extra points because right now at plus 9.5, it's minus 112. Again, I like the Lions to win that football game, but 9.5 points is a lot in an NFL playoff game with the way that Jaden Daniels has been performing. Plus, like I said, it's going to be indoors. I think there could be a lot of points in that game. That's how I'm leaning on that one. For the Ravens and Bills, man, I'm really just interested to see if the Bills can get in plus money. That's where I'm wanting to take it, right? Can Bills get to plus 105 or plus 110 at home? Because I agree with everything your guys are saying about the Ravens. Like, they could 100% go win this game. But just from a value betting standpoint, man, if you could get a team as good as the Bills, led by Josh Allen, and they're at home in the playoffs, and that tips to plus money, because right this second, they're minus 102, Ravens money line are minus 118. If that can go into plus money, that's where I want to take it.
And they're not playing the Chiefs, too. So we want to know, what's your best bet? Put your best bet in the chat. We're going to read, remember, donations here at the end, like my brother said. But, guys, right before we get to calls, going to get to them in 1 second. It's Wednesday.
Can you hand me that stick over there? I just noticed that behind you. This could actually...
The Gandalf stick?
Yeah, I need the Gandalf stick.
I had someone make this for me, so you better be careful.
Okay, I won't take it far.
That's funny. You're a quarterback. The way that works out. All right, Cone, it's Wednesday. We all know you're really a 100-year-old man stuck in a middle-aged man's body, and you are middle-aged, so am I. Who's looking you in the eyes in front of everybody, G'ing off your L, regardless of who's around?
Everyone involved in this viral Eagles video needs to get off my lawn. Yeah. By now, everyone has seen Philadelphia Eagles fan Ryan Caldwell and the disgraceful language he used towards a female Packers fan during last week's playoff game, and he is suffering the consequences. Not only has he been banned from all future events at Lincoln Financial Field, but he has also been fired from the company he works for, BCT, which specializes in DEI strategies and consultancy. Not that I really consider that a job to begin with. But now the plot thickens. Some are claiming that Alex Bassara, the Packers fan recording the video, is an influencer who possibly encouraged the escalation of this situation and had previously set up a GoFundMe for donations even in advance of the game. I don't know what all went down, and I think I speak for many when I say I don't care. I'm more interested in whether or not Philly is going to incorporate A.J. Brown more in the pass game. Get these people off my timeline. I will address some of you who were upset after yesterday's show, however. I can't say for certain what I would have done in this particular situation because I wasn't there in person from the start. But a hypothetical scenario does exist where I would defend my wife or daughter or even a random person with physicality if a certain line is crossed. Where is that line? I'm not sure exactly. It's circumstantial. I played football for most of my life. I'm used to people saying the nastiest, most disrespectful things to me. And if I hauled off and punched every one of them in a fit of some misplaced macho rage, I'd already be doing life in prison. I've wanted to punch Blaine 3 times already today. But having no line whatsoever where you would defend your kin physically is concerning. Do not confuse niceness and goodness. Walk softly but carry a big stick only works if you can diffuse most situations if you're able and willing to use that stick. And the best way to avoid mine right here is by staying off my lawn.
Well done, Coney.
Yeah,
well done. Well, look, if this is all a setup, bro, oh boy, the dude who videoed it said...
I was going to hold on to this for a while.
That's his stick now.
Walk softly.
That's his stick now.
Cool, I'll beat your ass. All right.
And we got a great breakout from that. We kind of told you what we would do. If you haven't seen our breakout about the Eagles fan, it's on the YouTube channel. You can find it really easily. But David, I couldn't agree more with you, man. It's a weird situation, dude.
Do you think there's any world where this was done on purpose and like staged from the video or something?
Well, yeah. I mean, he starts a GoFundMe before you do this.
Yes.
He said, no, I just started that to get people to pay for my trip to go see the game.
In our society, yes, I could see it happening. I just don't think it was staged on the other side. I mean,
no.
Oh boy got fired.
He's not a good enough actor.
Playing a game of which race should we hire?
Yeah.
Like whatever job that was you brought up. Which the irony. You're a DEI working job and you're out here calling a woman a dumb
man.
See you know what? Man, really good look. It's amazing. Hey, it'd be that way. It'd be that way. It's absolutely incredible. But speaking about incredible, it's Hot Take Hotlines.
All right, let's get to these phone lines. We're going to start with Tommy in Kentucky. Tommy, you got 60 seconds, brother. What's your hot take?
Don't blow it.
Hey, fellas. So, great. Get off my lawn, David. In the trust tree here, I just wanted to share something with you guys. I found out on Christmas Eve I passed my PA boards, and hopefully I won't be studying as much. I can catch you guys live.
Let's go.
And here's my rapid-fire hot takes. So,
give it to me.
Carson Beck, he's going to have a Heisman year this year at Miami. Marcus Freeman outcoached Kirk Cignetti, Kirby Smart, and James Franklin. He will do the same against Ryan Day and win Notre Dame's first natty since 1988. Calipari is going to leave Fayetteville after this season, and he will be out of coaching altogether in 3 years. One last thing, it's mid is not mid, and bring it back.
Yes. Wow. Yeah. First off, Tommy,
what a blast
congratulations, bro. That is awesome. Congrats to you, buddy. That's big time stuff. And look, so if you're still on the line, Tommy, if you can hear me, you saying Carson Beck's going to win the Heisman, or he's gonna be invited to the Heisman ceremony? Oh, he's gone. A Heisman winning season, I'm guessing
he's gone.
He's going to win the Heisman, and it's gone. Look, if he's right about Carson Beck and Marcus Freeman, the Calipari thing, I think he's telling the truth. Now, I talked with a guy that's an insider at Arkansas about would Cal get fired after this year. He doesn't think so because of the money. But you know who looks the best in all this? Kentucky Athletic Director Mitch Barnhart. Didn't have to pay the buyout, buddy. Yeah. You decided to go to Arkansas, and there's not enough Razorback nuggets for me to save you and want to have to pay it. So Cal looks bad. Maybe he was just a really good recruiter, and he was at Kentucky.
Yeah.
That's what it's starting to look like.
Well, they certainly wouldn't fire him, right, though? But if you're saying if he left on his own accord?
If he left on his own, I think they'll fire him after 2 years. I just don't think they'll fire him after this year. I do say I think Cal would be good on TV, though.
That line is now open. I'd love if an Arkansas fan would call in and give us your thoughts on Calipari. Let's go to the next one. James in Colorado. James, 60 seconds. What's your hot take?
Hey, boys.
What up?
Just want to say, got some new babies in the family, Crain & Co. family. Congrats, Jake.
Thanks,
being
buddy.
Papa.
All right.
God is good.
Yeah, he is.
Hot take for you boys is I think Deion should stay in Boulder. I think making a little less money than the NFL, but having a really long runway. He walks around Boulder like a god, and he's put CU back on the map versus working for Jerry Jones for 2 years and getting fired. I just wanted to hear what you guys think about that.
Yeah, well, I said yesterday and led off the show, James, thanks for calling, buddy. Appreciate the kind words. Deion needs to strike while the iron's hot. I think he needs to go because I don't know how it's going to go at Colorado without the guys he's always had with Shadur and with Travis. We don't know yet. It could be great. Who knows? It's kind of like the Quinn Ewers thing. It's a risk. It's a gamble. Maybe it's an even better leverage play than Quinn Ewers saying he's going to the NFL draft if Deion's taking the calls from Jerry Jones. But I think Deion views himself as an NFL guy. He wants to be at the quote-unquote top. That's where he garnered most of his fame. What I'm interested in is let's just run the ground ball out real quick of if Deion Sanders did go to the NFL, whether it's the Cowboys, whether it's the Raiders, whether it's someplace cool I hadn't heard about yet, does Colorado say, look, we made basically a celebrity hire. Do we go do it again? And who would that be? Or do they say, you know what? No, we're just going to go run of the mill. Do they go try and get Pete Carroll?
That's really interesting. I think whatever you do, you can't lose the momentum that Deion Sanders has helped create at Colorado. And like he said, that has been seismic. On the coaching thing, it's like, well, Deion Sanders first said he got back into coaching, or he got into coaching in the first place to help HBCU schools. Then Colorado, with that first Power 5 offer, he went there. Now the Cowboys are calling, if it is true that Deion only got into coaching because, hey, I really just wanted to coach my sons, then you have to take the Cowboys job. If all of this is like parlayed you into being the favorite for the Cowboys job, you have to take that. If that's not the real reason and you just had an itch to get into coaching and you really want to run this out for another 10 or 15 years, you couldn't find yourself in a better situation than in Colorado, where people already love you, like he said, but also in the Big 12 that's still going to have a college football playoff representation. You could run the conference.
And it's more open than any other conference.
I don't even think he would stay at Colorado if he stayed in college.
Even this year?
You've always said
that.
I
thought you're right.
I think if he would have stayed in college, why not go get a bigger job?
Well,
after what you did at Colorado, because I do think he wants to coach his sons, and I think that's pretty apparent. But there's no reason for him to stay at Boulder if he's turned that program around that quickly. Your top 5 picks, your 2 top 5 picks are going to be gone. He's going to be able to get a high-class job in college football. So if he stayed in college football, I wouldn't even be surprised if he was at any other team than Colorado.
I only think there's one team that he would leave Colorado to stay in college for.
Florida State?
Yep, that's if Mama comes. And if Mike Norvell has another bad year, it could be
LSU. You don't think he'd go coach LSU?
I think he'd go coach Texas.
Texas, really? There's a lot of them, I think.
If Steve Sarkisian goes to the NFL.
Lincoln Riley left.
I am trying to get a head coach. Deion can't get to my campus quick enough.
If Lincoln Riley went to the pros and USC called, he'd take that job.
You want to talk about getting guys to go there just from aura. I mean, Deion, it doesn't matter where Deion is. He's going to walk and talk the same way.
Yeah.
That's just who he is.
All right, these lines are full. Let's get to them. Let's go to Cameron in Florida. Cameron, 60 seconds. What's your hot take?
Hey, boys. How's it going?
What's
up, man?
First, I want to say congratulations to Jake.
Yes, thank you.
And then my hot take is Deion Sanders will be the next head coach of the Dallas Cowboys.
Okay.
And they will trade Dak Prescott to the Tennessee Titans for the number 1 overall pick so they can get Shedeur Sanders.
You know, I actually threw that scenario out, Cameron. Was it Monday? I think it was Monday or Tuesday. I can't remember. I think it was Monday. Threw that scenario out, and the amount of Titans fans that were like, no, please no, don't do that. They don't want Dak Prescott at all. But I do think if you're prime, just sticking on it, and you have the choice of, I can go to the Cowboys, but we're not going to get rid of Dak, which means you're not getting Shedeur. Or I can go to the Raiders, and they'll trade up to the Titans to get Shedeur. I'm going the Raiders, man. Like, I think it's more about, would the Titans take Dak Prescott? If you're the new GM, and you might be, still open, would you take Dak Prescott if you're the Titans?
Not only if you do, you should be fired, but your NFL organization might just need to go away.
If you're the Titans?
If you're the Titans.
Why is that?
Because you're passing up on a generational talent.
Okay. Just in terms of the Cam Ward thing.
Yeah, you're passing up on I would take Cam Ward over Dak Prescott right now.
Really?
Right now. I'm telling,
just for the upside.
I'm telling y'all. Y'all bring up the Bryce Young thing, whatever. Bryce has looked like he was supposed to look lately. Cam Ward is going to be a very good quarterback in the NFL.
I agree with that.
A very good quarterback.
I'd take him over Shedeur.
Yeah, he's a better quarterback. He's just a better overall player than Shedeur Sanders. Shedur's a great player, but Cam Ward, if you watch Cam Ward play this year, which I watched a hell of a lot of Miami games, you can't teach what he does, especially the patience in the pocket. Like, you can't teach that, the feel in the pocket. Do not go get Dak Prescott.
What Dak would you be getting? I mean, prime Dak would be the best quarterback the Titans have had in years. I don't know if you're getting prime.
You're not getting prime. The more I look at Dak Prescott, I'm starting to see more Russell Wilson, like in that kind of old age of kind of losing your fastball. Remember, Dak was a downhill runner, dude. Like, do you remember Dak at Mississippi State?
Yeah. Dan Mullen.
Like, he was like headbutting defenders. Like, that's who he was. So, this prime thing is so interesting, man.
All right, let's go to Jared in Seattle. Jared, you got 60 seconds. What's your hot take?
What's up, boys?
What up?
My hot take is just because I think out of all the SEC quarterbacks we had this season, I don't think that anyone deserves their flowers more than Brady Cook. I mean, I think we can all acknowledge he's not the most talented, but in this era of college football with the portal and with NIL, I think it says a lot about a home state kid who was never projected to be a starter. They can drink constantly recruited over and try to bring in different guys, and he never hit the portal. He never wavered. He just put his head down and worked. And it's one of the rare situations where you have a player who loves the school as much as the fan base loves the school, and him just playing through injuries and motivating the team to just get the most out of it. 2 back-to-back 10-win seasons is something that's special. So I know that he's not really the biggest national name, but I do think that he really deserves his flowers. So
hey, Jared, real quick, good NFL player or no?
Hell no.
Okay.
As the buzzer cuts off.
And look, I've had a couple people mention that they think Brady Cook could be one of the most underrated players in this quarterback draft class at the end of the day. I think he'll get a shot. You couldn't pick a better year to get in with the way this draft class is. But I think Missouri, since they didn't win anything huge, like the SEC championship or make the college football playoff, people have kind of forgotten how many games they've won the past couple years.
Yeah.
Like, it's been incredible. And speaking about Missouri football, did you see what Missouri basketball did last night?
Yeah, big
Went
upset.
on the road and beat Florida.
I had Florida -10.
Yeah. Well, and Brady Cook deserves all of his flowers, but out of the SEC, which quarterback deserves that most, I sit here and refuse not to say Diego Pavia.
I agree with that.
I sit here and refuse after what that kid did at Vanderbilt. Hell, what he's probably going to do next year. We might have a Vanderbilt quarterback on a Heisman finalist next year.
Heisman finalist?
Yeah.
I think you're out your mind.
We might have it. We might have it.
Yeah, I might
Diego
walk out of here
is that good of a player.
We might see him.
But if I'm going to give, there's already drones flying around this world that we don't even know what it is. But I wouldn't be surprised if Diego Pavia somehow finds his way up there next year in his 32nd year in college football.
He is a gamer. All right, let's go to Will in New Jersey. Will, talk to us, man. What's your hot take?
What's up, boys?
What up?
All right, so my hot take is I just want to say it's a new year, it's a new me. I feel very bad for that Philadelphia Eagles fan who was cursing out that Packers lady. He's actually the guy that came up with the EAGLES chant. He's the only person in Philadelphia that can actually spell Eagles. So I feel bad for him that he is now being, thrown under the bus like this. He's a good guy overall. He deserves to be treated better. And he, like I said, he has the highest IQ in Philadelphia, and the rest of the city, as far as I'm concerned, can burn in hell.
I thought you were going to say he's the mayor.
Look, I'm not going to get on the wrong side of Philadelia fans.
I just don't want.
I'll walk out the studio and they'll be outside.
Yeah,
it's like
and there's snow out there too. They'll throw snowballs at Santa's. They'll kill Blaine.
There's no way that's the guy who came up with EAGL.
Nah, I think he was just making a joke.
Okay,
he's the only one that could spell. But
No, he really did.
Will always brings.
Also, I have
I
have a new business scheme I want to get you involved in.
Yeah, hey, it's like everybody's gonna be really pissed when they find out that was Vince Papale.
Who starts a GoFundMe before and then this happens? Look, I don't believe in coincidences. I really don't.
No, it's either one of
something smells fishy here, and I'm not
either you set it up or you're a time traveler, and I don't think you're a time traveler.
All right, that line's now open. Let's get a caller on it ASAP. In the meantime, we're going to go to Anthony in North Carolina. Anthony, you got 60 seconds, man. What's your hot take?
Hey, what's up, fellas?
What up,
man?
I would say that the College Football Playoff Committee single-handedly set Florida State football back by like a decade. Because to leave a 13-0 program out that won a Power 5 conference at the time, to leave them out is just not defensible. There's not enough reasons you can give me to say that was a justified decision at all. And it totally destroyed everything that Mike Norvell was building up and brought them all the way back down to where they were, even worse than what they had with Willie Taggart, and brought them all the way back down to the bottom.
Anthony, let me ask this real quick. Do you think it would have still gone south for Norvell this year if they'd have put Florida State in the playoff and they'd have got beat by 60?
I mean, I don't think they're getting beat by 60 with that defense, though. I mean, you see what Jared Verse did the other night. I don't think that's happening. I think it might have set them back, but not like this, not in the same way.
Well, Anthony, I actually agree with you. If Florida State had lost a game with that backup quarterback in and not Jordan Travis, I can understand you leaving them out of the playoff. Not when you're undefeated, though, dude. Not when you're undefeated in the regular season, beat 2 SEC teams, then win the conference championship. I'm with Andy. I think it's indefensible because they were undefeated. I agree with him, but look, man, don't take DJU, dog. Like, you don't compound that with taking DJU. We tried to tell you. We sat here and tried to tell you. This man's fraudulent. Seems like a great guy. Sure, he walks old ladies across the street, holds the door open for strangers, right? But at the end of the day, the man can't play quarterback. He's a slow-footed tight end that can kind of throw it good.
The reason that he won 10 games and still got booted out of Clemson.
That's exactly right.
I'm trying to think about it, especially in my head. When's the last time, even if there is one, the team had such a devastating injury to their program? Not only to Jordan Travis, but name another injury that's in the same realm as when Jordan Travis got hurt with the ripple effect affected their program that much.
Yeah, it was
I don't know
Drew Bledsoe.
Like maybe Drew Bledsoe, Colt McCoy getting hurt in the national championship.
That was. But that didn't I don't think that
didn't hurt Texas. No, I mean look at him now. They're just in the semifinals. But I don't know of another injury like
college football
at a certain time in college football. In college football, that's devastated a program this much. I really can't think of one.
It's a good.
Yeah, when was the Willis McGahee one? Was that in the championship?
I think that was in the championship. That was a bad one.
They lost.
His knee. Ugh.
Yeah, that's a good question. We'll have to think about that. All right, that line's open. Let's get a caller on it. Let's go to Clayton in Indiana. Clayton, what's your hot take?
He's like, Mike Woodson should be.
Hey, gentlemen. First, I want to say I'm very excited for this national championship game. It felt like mom and dad are fighting IU and Notre Dame in that first round.
Yeah.
So I'm glad Hoosier State's united once again.
Yeah.
But I'm down here in Bloomington, and it feels like the sky is falling. This Hoosier basketball team sucks.
Yeah.
2 back-to-back 20-point losses for Mike Woodson, and not to mention the 30-point loss for Purdue last year, the worst in the rivalry history My hot take is Mike Woodson not only should go, but he was a terrible hire at the time.
Well, Clayton, first off, thank you for calling in and talking basketball. I talk about this all day. Indiana basketball is the Nebraska of football. Like, man, y'all used to be so good. And for so long now, it's just been lame. I didn't think Jimmy Chitwood could save y'all. Here's what I keep hearing, though, that Chris Beard is on the radar of Indiana. But I don't think Chris Beard would take it. You want to know why? Because the Ole Miss picked up Chris Beard when he was at his lowest after all that. And it's a different situation from Bruce Pearl and Auburn. What Chris Beard was accused of and what Bruce Pearl was accused of, two totally different things. Auburn took Bruce Pearl when nobody else would really take him. And Bruce Pearl could have gone somewhere else after all he did at Auburn, but he rewarded loyalty with loyalty. I think Chris Beard would reward loyalty with loyalty if Ole Miss ponies up, and they should. But Mike Woodson, that was a disaster. Y'all are just bad. Y'all are just bad. It is so wild. Not only the NIL situation in Indiana, but he should be fired. And I'm going to tell you who you should go get if you don't get Chris Beard. You go to Samford and you get Bucky. You get Bucky Ball up in Indiana. Y'all need something fun. And I'm not talking about an old white dude throwing chairs, even though I love me some Bob Knight. Y'all need something fun, something fresh. Go get a little Bucky Ball up in Indiana. But it's bad. They should fire him today. They should fire him today.
From a guy who picked Illinois yesterday, plus 3.5 against Indiana. I said it on the show yesterday. Indiana's just not that good of a basketball team. To be honest with you anymore, it's not that good of a job. It's just not. It's just not the same Indiana. I had someone say something about Shaka Smart going there. I'm not leaving Marquette.
No, hell no.
Why would Marquette is just as good, if not a better job than Indiana basketball right now. Indiana basketball has fallen off the radar, and it's not even something we talk about anymore.
I like the Nebraska comp, though, because it's still a sleeping giant. I mean, the people in that state, they're so singularly obsessed with basketball. It's fascinating. They can still be great. Yeah. They can still be great there. And I still think Nebraska football can be great. But it's like, who's the person who comes in and actually does the work to get it back?
Now, the question is, can Nebraska basketball get to the point where Indiana football is now and totally flip the script? Also, shout out to our boy Cuse Mode. Syracuse, look at how much they're investing into football now. It seems like Syracuse is making a pivot into football with the money, and I'm so excited for them. It's very smart.
It's smart. You got something?
Yeah, quickly, I was going to say, this quarterback we didn't talk about in the draft, Kyle McCord. You know, are you taking Kyle McCord over Quinn Ewers?
I would.
I'm taking Kyle McCord over Quinn Ewers. Yes,
I would.
1,000%.
I would. Which, that's crazy to think about 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Right? But, yeah. All right. Next caller up here, Devil Doc, also in Indiana. Devil Doc, what's your hot take?
Like Gene Hackman.
What's up, guys? How you doing?
What's up, man?
Well, first off, Jake, congratulations.
Thank you, buddy.
I've been a dad for 18 months. It's been the craziest 18 months of my life, I'll tell you that. I'm literally raising a terrorist, but that's another conversation. But
well, awesome. Good. Hey, we got him, guys. We got him. We got him.
Yeah.
Part of the hostage
you can pinpoint
deal.
him here. Yeah, I've already seen the drones and everything. But anyway, my hot take is I think the winner of the Bills-Ravens game wins the Super Bowl.
Oh,
that's a good one.
Yeah. And I know that I'll preface it by saying I am a diehard Ravens fan, but I'm not saying – I know this is going to be hard. I heard you talk, Jake, about home field advantage. From the weather, it's supposed to be cold, supposed to be snowy. Honestly, I don't know that you can stop Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson.
Well, Devil Doc – here's what I keep coming back to. If it was me and I was playing linebacker, who would I rather have to tackle in the snow? Derrick Henry or Josh Allen? They both, that sucks.
That's
Josh Allen? Oh, just Josh Allen?
Give my chances with Josh.
Yeah. Okay, good luck. Good luck. I'm saying it both sucks.
It both sucks. Well, you know what sucked more? Tackling that thing from Mordor for 4 quarters.
Dude, Josh Allen is a refrigerator with legs.
Derrick Henry is a tank with wheels.
Yeah. Tanks have
wheels.
Well, not technically. They have the little
tread, whatever.
Like he's literally
it's a tank with wheels and a plane with wings.
It's just like I would so much rather tackle Josh Allen than Derrick Henry.
Here's the thing. I would rather have to tackle Lamar Jackson than both of them.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'd rather have to tackle my apartment building.
Yeah.
But like it's
a tank with wheels. That's good. That's fun.
I'm checked out now after that. All right, that's it for callers today. Thank y'all for calling
great
in.
calls. All right, I'm going to get to bets. Hit the like and subscribe button. Oh, duh. All right, real quick before we get into this, do got to let you guys know something. Devil Doc said he's raising a terrorist. I may be raising a betting savant.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we got
night
her
last
up there.
Dude, so yesterday, this is no joke. Yesterday morning, before I came in the studio, she was sitting on my lap in the chair, and I was like, hey, Viola, let's me and you make our first ever daddy-daughter parlay. Which, you know what? Get upset about me teaching my daughter about sports gambling. And it's my daughter. Mind your own business, Grandpa. So anyways, we put together a little 7-legger, $10 7-leg parlay. Didn't buy anything down. Didn't take anybody money line. All spreads. 10 to win $1,800. And buddy, I put it on social media. You can see it. Shout out to DraftKings. It hit.
Wow.
She's 1-0. So now I got 2 options. Either I keep it going or I quit with her. Just quit it one time. That's it. Bang, $1,800. Thanks for the memories. We'll talk again in 10 years. I don't know. Do you know I did go 1-1 last night with my bets on the show? Nobody can go 1-1 like your boy. Alabama. Took Alabama to cover. Ole Miss not only covered, they beat them, but Providence, Creighton, overhit, never a doubt. Tonight, it's college hoops. I love talking about it. Smother me in it. Iowa State -5 at home against Kansas. I'm more of an Emily Dickinson than Hunter Dickinson fan. Iowa State's really, really good. That's -110. And then Tennessee at home against Georgia. What Mike White has done at Georgia and the way the Steg is rocking, it's been amazing, but they ain't playing at the Steg. They're going up the Rocky Top to face Tennessee, -10.5 at -135.
All right, boys. 0-2 yesterday, but the funny thing about it is no one's talking about it.
You said you wanted to punch me in your...
Yeah, I heard everybody's talking about it.
I threw that in last minute, impromptu, like that. I'm going to go the other way in the Kansas game. Give me Kansas +5 with the points there. It's -105. And then give me Dayton -8, -112, and Dayton's at home tonight.
All right, 1-1 yesterday, but the most beautiful 1-1. You can pick Illinois +3.5. They win by 20. You bet against Auburn and they cover. I'll take that spread.
Oh, yeah, huge. I'm not pissed about Ole Miss.
No, not at all. All right, a little basketball action here. I'm going UAB -2.5. Shout out them Blazers. They are at home, I believe. And Vanderbilt -8.5, going off at -120. And I believe they play Mississippi State at home.
They got South Carolina,
at home. South Carolina, big performance last week, but I don't think they can match that. At Vanderbilt, weird place to play.
Oh, speaking of big performance, man, God, Auburn looked pretty good without Janai Broome last night.
Not talking about it.
Nobody's talking about it. Nobody's talking about it. Keep your head down.
We can't lose.
All right, Ace, what do you got?
Kamala in the second round anymore.
Yeah. Who? Lose
Yale?
to who?
Whites for Kamala. So we lost.
Is that Yale?
Do you mean white dudes for Harris?
No, I mean whites for Kamala. That's what I mean. I said it. Don't put dude on it. How dare you?
Just whites. just. All right, Ace.
Oh, man.
It's going to take I actually really like this first bet. The Tennessee-Georgia under 133.5 at -112. And then he's going to take the Gamecocks, South Carolina, +9.5. It's going off at -110. Some good stuff, man.
All right, I love it. Let's get to these donations. If you donate today, thank you so much. We enjoy your money. Let's go to a $5 donation from Mikey_1318. What's up, brother? He says, hey, fellas, question. Will y'all be live streaming the national championship game?
Answer, yeah.
Yes,
it's going to be awesome.
We will be live streaming. I think we're going a little bit early that day as well.
We may not do the live show at 2. We're probably just going to do what y'all did.
Whatever y'all want. Whatever y'all want.
What do y'all want?
We'll do it.
Yeah, whatever y'all want. $2 donation from Tyler T. Appreciate it, Tyler. Stop the Dak to Tennessee talk. For the love of everything, please. We've suffered enough.
I'm telling you, that got him more pissed off than anything yesterday. Is that Tyler Timmerton?
Yes.
God, what a name.
$2 donation from Seth. Appreciate it, Seth. Says Bucky Ball in Indy. I am all for it.
Would be good.
Let's go to $5 donation from the Long Man. Appreciate it, brother. Quinn Ewers will not be an NFL quarterback. It makes no sense for him to go to the draft. If anything, you go to a different college and you get that bread, my brother.
You said he was expected to go 52nd overall right now?
Yep, 52nd overall right now, which, isn't terrible. I kind of said it on the show, would be the second quarterback.
Yeah.
Highest drafted quarterback at Texas.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Well, I know, it's a crazy stat. $30 donation from Nova. $30 donation. Yeah, a little money here, a little bread. Jake, I'm disappointed in you. So for your play of the weekend, as a special teams guy, how could you not pick the Texans blocking the extra point and taking it back for your play? Need the offense to step up this weekend.
Yeah, I keep, it's funny. I kind of feel a little bit there's a similarity, and get mad if you want. With how the Texans would have to beat the Chiefs and how Notre Dame would have to beat Ohio State. I just feel like there's some similarities in those games. Not that they can't do it, but you're going to need. That's why the which is more likely question was so good about the special teams touchdown. What it's going to take. You're going to have something from one of the special teams and defensive phase to win it.
$5 donation from the homie. Appreciate it. He says, hot take, Cade Klubnik will be the number one quarterback taken in the draft next year.
Dude, Cade's nice.
That's bold, though.
I know, but Cade is nice. He really is nice with it, especially when Garrett Riley doesn't run zone read at the 2.
Let's go to a $5 donation from the Chant. What's up, man? Just here to see Indiana fans trying to tell me that their football school after that ass beating last night to Illinois. #IU sucks. #go Illinois.
Hey, Illinois got this I don't know where he's from, Uzbekistan or something, or Lithuania. Lithuania's got some guys that can hoop, by the way. You talk about exciting whites. It's not just a section of the wine in Winn-Dixie. His name's Lechevis. He's a ball. NBA scouts are flocking to him. They're talking about him being a top 3 pick. He is absolutely cold with it. Absolutely cold.
$5 donation from Bo M. Appreciate it, Bo. He says, the SEC is the best in the conference when Texas A&M is ranked. #what is going on?
Yeah, I think Texas A&M too. Not having Wade Taylor just sucks. But right now he's coming back. But I've had a bunch of SEC fans message me man, this isn't good. We're going to lose 5-6 games in conference play. Bro, overall, it's a net positive if you're an SEC basketball team. Why? What if you're a team and they're projected to get 12, even 13 teams in. If you're on the bubble, what do you need at the end of the year? You need quality games to get in the tournament. There is not a non-quality game really out there right now outside of Arkansas when you look at it. LSU kind of there. But then if you're also a team that wants to go from a 5 seed to a 2 seed, from a 7 seed to a 5 seed, from a 2 seed to a 1 seed, you've got a ton of opportunities with quad 1 games. And then you're so prepared by the time you get to the NCAA tournament after going through that gauntlet. I think it's a net positive for teams overall. If you lose, you don't drop that far. Like in the past, if you would lose to Georgia, that could drop you down a level. That could be devastating. Not this year.
Let's go to a $5 donation from Bleeding Blue. Appreciate it, man. He says, suck at Bama, #War Eagle.
Boy, it's what we call the golden night as an Auburn fan.
I did think Nate Oates handled the presser really well.
Nate Oates, and I can put this on social, Nate Oates handled that so much better than Mick Cronin did. Because he critiqued his players, but said, that's on me. I didn't motivate them well enough. I didn't have them ready to play. Even though we have all these seniors, I didn't have them ready to play. Listen, you can hate Alabama, you can love Alabama, you can hate Auburn, you can love Auburn. Nate Oates goes about, I really respect the way Nate Oates handles his business, man.
Did he ever, in his presser, get around to apologizing to me personally for busting my parlay? Did he get to that point?
Well, he actually was going to at the end, and then he said, nah, screw it. Suck it, David.
He'd be such a great fit in Dallas. All right, $5 donation from Will. Appreciate it, Will. He says, during my call, my kid was in the background singing the Have It Your Way Burger King song. That's specifically for you, Blaine.
Yeah, get that man a Whopper.
#Go Rams. Let's go to a $5 donation from the Irish 65. Appreciate it. He says, guys, can y'all give me any hope at all that we can win this football game?
I'm telling you, we got the best preview of this game out there that we did earlier in the week. Go check it out. It's going to say, Ohio State, Notre Dame preview prediction, whatever. We literally lay out, and I think maybe towards the end of the week, maybe even on Friday, we're going to do a, Notre Dame wins if, Ohio State wins if too, that I think some Notre Dame fans will like. We may even get our boy Brian Driscoll back on the show. And look, you got a chance, man. You got a chance. It's not a great chance, but you got a chance. It's not a 1 in a million thing.
Let's go to $2 donation from Serb. Appreciate it, Serb. He says, what are your boys' pizza preferences?
I like that Meat Lovers from the other day.
Yeah, that
one was solid.
Yeah,
what?
I bet you do. No, I tell you, you know what? Stuffed crust, to me, is the best type of pizza. I'm good with sausage. I'm good with cheese, extra cheese. I'm good with pepperoni. Give me that cheese in the crust.
Is that a type of pizza by itself?
I think it's a preference of a part of the pizza.
Yeah, because you could still have a pepperoni stuffed crust.
Look, man, I'm easy. I'm pretty easy going with that. Just give me a pepperoni pizza. Pepperoni pizza.
Can't go wrong.
Can't go wrong with that at all. I mean, I didn't know you were 14. You're talking about stuffed crust over here. Do you eat?
I'm 14.
Do you eat the little Lunchables with the pizza?
Yeah. I'm 14. I've watched you eat more Uncrustables than anybody in this.
I will not take Uncrustable hate on this show.
Well, I won't take stuffed.
It's like punching Diego Pavia in the face.
Yeah, well, saying you don't like stuffed crust pizza is like slapping God in the face.
No, I mean, I like it. I mean, but then, I hit puberty. Let's go to a $5 donation from BCC. Says, Steve's hot take. Ohio State 38, Notre Dame 70. Book it. 17, excuse me. Jesus. Book it. The action. I have to read a lot on the show.
I know it's tough for you.
It is tough. It's the reason I have a spelling book that's for 5th graders. Book it. The action figure should be here tomorrow.
Let's go.
All right, we got a $5 donation from Timothy from Green Bay. What's up, man? Appreciate it. Packers need to fire Matt LaFraud. Also, Jake, back-to-back years saying SEC is best at basketball. Can't wait for the collapse in the tournament again. This kid just chooses.
If y'all fire Matt LaFleur,
if you fire Matt LaFleur, then I'm just going to fire you.
Let's go to a $10 donation from Cuse. Appreciate it, Cuse. Given how down this year's QB draft class is, what are the most realistic prospects are for both Quinn Ewers and Kyle McCord? I think either could go 4th round, the highest, but both need great combine.
I'm taking Kyle McCord. Mm-hmm.
$5 donation from the Gambler. What parlays do you have for this weekend? And congrats on the kid, Jake.
We're going to get to Locks, Leans, and Dogs here soon enough. Just bide your time. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Hit all the other buttons.
I did make a poll and someone brought it up. Should I bring it back? It's mid. Yes or no? What's y'all's thoughts?
Yes. Well, no.
They said no.
It should have never gone anywhere.
Yeah, well, if it had said no, you wouldn't have said that you brought up the poll. So they obviously
I would have.
Yes. I'm going to say they said yes, 82%.
All right, we're going to get out of here.
What?
I don't like that.
Am I right?
It's yes, 82%.
Woo! Wow. I'm telling you, your boy just...
Oh, you've been on some weird stuff lately.
Yeah, I have, dude. I'm created a human. Now I can see it.
You are now a Faja.
Yeah, I put on that Professor X helmet. Now it's just all making sense. Wow.
All
right. Yep. I know, David.
Wait. Let me get my clock out.
Get the clock out.
I don't trust this clock they have here. All right, let's go.
All right.
You have the clock today.
Yeah.
Got the thing.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't need anything.
I can buzz in your ear if you want me to.
I'll buzz you at 6.
Hey, I got this.
Okay.
You believe in me?
I'm going to count you down. You ready?
Okay.
All right, Blaine, you ready on the sticks?
Let's go, Coach.
All right, 3, 2, 1. Fit in a minute.
Lions running back David Montgomery was a full participant in Tuesday's walkthrough practice. Montgomery says he's excited to return for the divisional matchup against the Redskins after missing Detroit's final 3 regular season games with a right MCL injury. Star Dallas Cowboys pass rusher Micah Parsons expressed his disappointment with head coach Mike McCarthy's departure, calling the development devastating. He went on to say, Coach Mike is a great father, great coach. Losing a great coach like Mike hurts. The Cleveland Browns are promoting tight ends coach Tommy Rees to be offensive coordinator, replacing Ken Dorsey, who was fired after 1 season. Remember, Tommy Rees was the OC at Alabama in 2023 and Notre Dame from 2020 to 2022. Professional golfer John Daly has been hospitalized in Florida and has undergone emergency surgery on his hand. The 58-year-old revealed the news on Instagram with a picture from his hospital bed and the caption, the image, emergency hand surgery, but I'll be back in no time.
Wow.
55 seconds on the... I saw you.
God, if you would have had me bet on what emergency surgery John Daly would have from a health standpoint, it wouldn't have been the hand. It'd have been another body part that starts with an H, and that would be the heart. Glad to see he's doing better, though, in all seriousness. Great show. Good job, gentlemen. David, good job, and Fit It in a Minute. Do me a favor. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. We really appreciate you guys sharing the show. It's awesome interacting with you all every day. We got a great show for you tomorrow as well as we get ready for that live stream for the national championship. And put up the picture of that hat again. Throw that hat up right here. I just love this thing. I want 6 of them. Go get you a Crain and Company snapback hat. I got to get one. I'm going to get 4 of them.
Yeah.
You got one?
No, I don't. I didn't even know we had one to sell.
Yeah, well, now we do.
I got to get Darby Lou one. She already said something about it.
I've had more people hit us about this merch. And now obviously the Win the Water Cooler shirt too. That's pretty gasoline. But go check that out. Go to dailywire.com. Go to the merch store. We appreciate y'all. And like the chances of me not being excited to go watch some more great college basketball tonight, maybe hit another parlay.
You're due for a drop.
We're going.
That's not it.
Gone. It's just right in the pocket.